Backyard Breaks is back in the news. Let's roll this clip and see what they've been up to lately.
Has two small dimples on the surface. He's talking about that right there. See those dimples? That's what he's talking about, okay? And the back centering didn't look bad either.
No.
It's literally just those dimples. So I'm thinking, maybe I can scrub them out. Maybe the surface gets a 9. Everything else is good. I can gem a 9.5 on that. If I get a 9.5 on the snakeskin.
And the last few raw did 4,500. You have a gem 9.5. You could probably flip that card for 5, 6K, no problem.
No problem.
With ease. And that's 100% return on your investment in markets where we're not seeing 100% anywhere.
So hey, Backyard Breaks aren't the only guys who do this. They didn't invent this, but they did admit to it on camera the other day. So let's talk about this. So what happened here? There's a $2,500 card that Backyard Breaks bought raw on eBay. It had a couple dimples on it that the eBay seller did disclose. In the eBay auction, the seller did disclose that there were these 2 dimples on the surface of the Trevor Lawrence card. Backyard Breaks' plan is to get the card, rub out those dimples in one form or fashion, send the card in to get graded. Their hope is to get a 9.5 or a 10 on that after rubbing those dimples out and improving the condition. So what do you guys think? Is that fair or foul? Getting a card that has some surface imperfections, presumably from the manufacturer or the printing process, and then taking either a cloth or even maybe a substance, rubbing out those dimples, trying to smooth out the surface of the card. What do you guys think about that? That's just an honest, not a rhetorical question. What do you guys honestly think about that? Drop a comment. Let's give another example. What about if instead of maybe just trying to rub out some fingerprints or rub out some surface dimples, maybe with like a cloth or some kind of really soft surface to kind of rub out those dimples? What about if you actually apply something to the card, like a wax or something? And let me give you an example of that here.
So here's my wax, you guys. Use just a little touch. And in my kit, you guys, I give you a little applicator, but we're just gonna do a little touch. And we're gonna go right over that, pull that.
So again, maybe rubbing a card out with a terry cloth or something, a really soft kind of piece of cloth is one thing, but now we're starting to apply wax to cards. It goes, maybe you can start to think about vintage cards, maybe cleaning vintage cards, cleaning gum stains off vintage cards, or wax, or just cards that are really, really old. Maybe you could really clean them and brighten them up and bleach them. Again, now we're starting to get into another realm of alteration and is this fraud? Should you disclose it? Should the grading companies be able to catch this? Are they able to catch this? So again, number of different questions raised here. Certainly drop in the comments if you have any answers or solutions or any kind of comments in regards to this. One last example. Okay, get a card with some surface imperfections, kind of rub it out. Maybe use wax, maybe you don't. But what about if it has a bad edge and it's really bad and you need to almost like smooth it out? So let me give you an example again of another guy who does this on Instagram with modern cards, where he'll actually take an edge. This particular card got a 7.5 grade from BGS on its edges. And he, again, trying to work the edge to make it a lot straighter and smoother. Again, is this fair or foul? Bottom line for me, whether or not this is acceptable, whether or not this is a gray area, whether or not this is fraud, I personally would not want a Trevor Lawrence card that had a couple dimples on it that were then rubbed down by one of the Backyard Bros.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I wouldn't want a Zach Wilson card that had an edge that was determined to be a 7.5 and then was, filed down and flattened out to be considered a better score, a better graded card. Wouldn't want a card like that. I'd pass. I'd rather have the card in its original condition, personally myself. Now, I think it's up to the grading companies to fix this stuff, to make their standards clear. Maybe this is acceptable. Maybe there is a gray area. Maybe this is fraud. I think the grading companies could come out with better standards, clearer standards, make these things at the forefront of their website. I dug around on the PSA website again to try to find some of their standards. They probably don't like you bleaching cards and waxing cards, but again, there could be a gray area in terms of rubbing down cards. I'll lead out with an old video from PSA. It's clear they don't, at least in the past, care too much about the handling of cards. They have their fingerprints all over these cards in this official PSA video that I'll show.
Hello, I'm Joe Orlando, president of PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator. PSA, which started in 1991, has certified millions of collectibles in its history, making it the largest third-party authentication and grading service in the world. In this video, we are going to show you how trading cards are graded at PSA. We hope this step-by-step video will answer your questions about the process and also provide insight into what PSA is all about. Let's get started. The cards are now ready for grading. The first stage in the grading process is determining whether the card is authentic. It is then checked for possible alterations. Once the graders have determined the card to be authentic and unaltered, a grade can now be assigned to the card. Graders are now focusing on the characteristics of the card, such as the strength and quality of the corners, color, edges, centering, surface, print clarity, and overall eye appeal. Once the grades have been assigned, the PSA labels are now generated. By entering the order number into the system, our team can now print all of the crucial information for the PSA labels. Now that the PSA labels have been printed, our sealing department is given the task of selecting the appropriate custom holders for each card and then carefully placing the card and the PSA label within the holder. Once the contents have been assembled by hand, each card is sonically sealed in our tamper-evident holders. This stage is PSA's final quality control checkpoint. Upon completion, a PSA packing slip is printed, the grades are posted on our website, and an email confirmation is sent to the customer with the grading results. We are now at the final stage in the PSA process, the shipping department. Now PSA staff will count the cards within the order once again to ensure that the card count and submission form matches the information in our system. Once this is completed, the staff members enter the shipping instructions into the computer, package the order, and ship it back to the customer. Once the order is shipped from our facility, an email is generated to alert the customer that the order is on the way. For additional questions about PSA, please visit our website at www.psacard.com or call us toll-free at 1-800-325-1121 and ask to speak with one of our representatives. From all of us at PSA, thank you for making our service the preferred choice for collectors across the globe and the foundation of all great collections.